Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I will be checking out a new single from TERMINA called Inside My Walls, which comes with the announcement of an upcoming record on September 29th, which is a pretty fast turnaround time. The album is called Soul Elegy, and I will link any sort of promotional links for the band, social media, any sort of pre-order links I can find for the album. All of that will be linked in the description of this video. I've covered a lot of TERMINA on the channel at this point, a band I'm always looking forward to new music from. So all that being said, I'm going to stop talking. We are going to get straight into it.
In your eyes, they hide behind your veil and tell a solemn tale, but I see through it. Oh, you carried it for so long, never falter. I've grown weary of your sad songs, playing a martyr. There is a place in my that I should never go. Familiar faces I don't recognize at all. I hear them call out to me when I am all alone. Forever haunted by the ghosts inside my walls. On that stormy night, you severed every tie and left me here to die, but I will find you. Now I see you when I'm asleep. Endless searching for pictures that make you wait. Images waiting. Falling until you cry. There is a place in my dreams that I should never go. Familiar faces I don't recognize at all. I hear them call out to me when I am all alone. Forever haunted by the ghosts inside my walls. Under the surface I will lie. No remedy to There is a place in my dreams that I can always go. Familiar faces I don't recognize at all.
Oh, you hear those lows back there.
I know I'm not alone. Forever haunted by the ghosts inside my
TERMINA, Inside My Walls. Let's discuss. Some unsurprisingly big moments from the guitar right off the bat. You have a beautiful riff. Besides that, the chorus is a very standout portion of this track to me, which is not surprising given the talent that is involved in this project. Andy's vocals here, some of that dissonance, some of the catchiness of the chorus, kind of having that dark feel to it at the same time as those things are kind of working in the background. That to me works so well. Andy's singing voice is just one of the top singing voices in the genre for me, so I feel like it's hard to miss with this combination, especially the style that Termina goes for. I think the difference between this release cycle, everything they've done recently with the new singles, Parasocial, all the new singles that they've had post their last album, the game changer is the production for me. I felt like with their last album, the songs had the same talent there, the same potential, the same drive, but some of them were held back by the production really not doing justice towards the sound they were going for. And I'm very excited going into this new release cycle, knowing that that's not an issue anymore. They also have Chris Turner doing their drumming, which is impossible for that to be a negative thing. So of course, those two things into consideration, this album is going to be kind of one of those end portion of the year sleepers, I think, although it should be on a lot of people's radars. I think given the people involved in the project and stuff, Termina has done a great job kind of getting their name out there, and now they're really delivering on the sound, the hype that they've built up over the last few years. These new singles are everything that's really got me excited about Termina. I think with this track, they have a very specific sound in mind, and they accomplish that incredibly well. I do hope going into the record to have some really big chorus moments. I think this is a big chorus, don't get me wrong, but when you look in their discography, like if they were to redo their debut album at some point, I definitely would not be opposed to that, because there are just some huge melodies in there, some very big soaring choruses, just everything that I want from a band. I feel like Termina is kind of cooking up, and any sort of hesitations I had about the band or any sort of worries, now with what they're currently doing and the singles that they've put out recently, I don't have any worries about their next release. So that is going to be a concern for my list at least, but looking at the bigger picture, it is quite exciting. I love having stuff to consider for my list, obviously. Late kind of game changers do tend to put me into like that overdrive mode working on my list, and I am expecting this to be something that sneaks in there. So with the things that stuck out to me the most on Dysphoria, that would be The Abyss is a huge track for me in anything that I am looking for from Termina. That track, the chorus on it is huge. Everything that fills up any moment of that track is sort of the gold star of what I love about Termina. But you also have tracks like Moribund, which ended up being probably just as much as a favorite for me as The Abyss did. The Abyss sort of attracts different parts, or like has different standout moments to me than Moribund does. Moribund isn't necessarily a surprising track for me, given that I've listened to a lot of Wonder. I've listened to the other projects that Andy is in other than Monuments that sort of showcase that style from Andy. So having the sort of emotionally powered, I don't want to make it sound like it's just driven on that either, because the choices that they made from an instrumental standpoint, everything about that song to me is just perfect. And I would love to see with what they've got going on now, not only with Chris doing their drumming, but mainly with their production changes and what their sound is like now compared to with Dysphoria. I would be really interested to, not like, a Moribund part 2 or anything, but hearing something that's really driven by the singing and some of the melodies over some very expressive instrumentals. That will be something I'm really looking forward to as well. But there were tracks like Blood Echo, tracks like Moharo, Lucid. Those tracks are also very big for me, and I never had any sort of disconnect with that record other than production choices and production things. So I thought front to back all 11 of the tracks hit the mark. So I think now any sort of worry I had about Termina being put to rest, sort of, it has me even more excited going into a new release from them, because a track like Parasocial, that one for me kind of showcases the opposite side of things, where I feel this song falls sort of in the middle when you look at the choruses, the lighter moments, what really feeds into the darker sound that I feel like this gives off. It's much different than what I feel drives Parasocial, which is an extremely energetic, front to back sort of track. They have a ton of potential with what their capabilities are, the directions they can go in. Not only with having Andy as their vocalist, but if you've watched any of Nick's content, you know he can make a song in a lot of the subgenres that sort of fall under the metal umbrella. He can kind of fill in the blanks in a lot of places, so I think that to me is very exciting as well. But really, just this combination of musicians is a very promising one. It'll be hard to miss the mark, given everything I've talked about up until this point as well, like the production changes, Andy's vocal delivery, Nick, Chris, all of that. I think considered, this is going to be like one of those late in the game album of the year list consideration releases, or it should be. Of course, I have no idea what else will be on this record, but knowing the band, knowing what they've put out recently and entirely in their discography, those are my thoughts. I'm very stoked for this record. Like I mentioned, any sort of promotional links for Termina, any sort of pre-orders for the record, all of that will be in the description of this video, so make sure if you also enjoyed this song, go give them some love on the original upload, pre-order the album. All of that stuff really helps. Let me know what you thought in the comments about this release, what you're feeling about the album. I will, of course, link all of their promotional links in the description. Other than that, I don't want anything different from this either. This is really what I wanted coming out of Dysphoria, the sounds that they've put down with their singles post Dysphoria, given also considering though how much I loved that release and just didn't feel like the production at all times did justice to the sound they were going for. Again, I just want to reiterate that on all 11 of those tracks, I felt like they hit the mark with the sound that was being put down. So those are my thoughts. As I mentioned before, my link tree will be in the description of this video. That will have my Twitch channel, my Patreon, my Discord server invite link, any sort of link that's related to my channel that you may need. That should be in the link tree. Twitch is now exclusively where I am doing my streaming. That includes Tuesday request streams, the additional music-related streams that I'm doing that are themed. If you want to be notified when I go live, see what I'm doing over there, feel free to give my Twitch channel a follow in that link tree. Also, the Patreon is offering more content now than before. I still have a few things I'm adding in there. I make playlists/mixtapes for tier 3. I have additional videos that I upload onto Patreon. Various things that are all listed out in the tier. So if you want to check that out or join the Discord server, which is where the community is based for my YouTube channel, that link, the invite for the Discord server, is also in that link. Oh, words are difficult. Link tree in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.